Hello, guys. Good evening. You're welcome to my space. Thank you for the privilege of allowing me come into your space. I'm just looking at the eye of this guy on this graphic. What I studied in school is totally different from what I want to do with my life. How do I go about that? We're going to be doing justice to that just right now. I am Usai Tresomokaro. Thank you for always giving me the privilege to be in your space. It's always an awesome experience for me. If you're joining us live and you have any comments, you will be willing to tackle it while we are on live. Feel free to just leave a comment there. We will respond to you before we wrap up this session. So if this resonates with you, share this video, get your friends to come listen and get some value from what we're going to be talking about. I understand that a lot of persons are here. I have a personal story to share also. As we go ahead, you're going to see what my story is about as it relates to this topic. Is something that a lot of us grapple with. What I learned in school is different from what I want to do with my life. What can I do about that? You know, as Nigerians, we face this a lot because a lot of things are not in place as it relates to the process to taking this decision. Career decision is something that is very, very important, and the way you make those choices matters a lot. It's going to influence a lot in your life. And before we dig deep into this, I just want to bring to your notice books, our books that have the capacity to change the perspective you have as it relates to business. We've authored three books, and one is currently on the line with a target. That one actually have a target for students. We're actually targeting students as it relates to that very one. Hope we can hear me. Hope we can hear me. Hope we can hear me. Okay, okay. Sorry about that. You know, that one is actually more focused on students, helping to correct some of this notion, and it's focused on students and is related to job acquisition, as in getting employment. That's the last book we're writing on currently to be released very soon, on or before the end of February. We'll be releasing that. So consider these three books. It will turn around your business in its entirety. Just follow trescaro.com/links. You will have access to those books. If you are yet to become a member of the Trescaro tribe, a lot is happening in there. You just have to come inside and see how we can help you take your 2021 and make it a wow for you. You know, we already claiming success from those. In fact, I shared one of the feedbacks from one of my mentees today who was feeling dejected, who was feeling almost depressed in December. But I gave her a call and encouraged her to be a part of the blueprint. As at today, she was sharing with me stuff that she's already doing. Our first client is already buying into our products, to our service, and guess what? The person is engaging her from outside of Nigeria. That's because someone spurred her up and someone is guiding her to ensure that she's doing what she was called to do. I have other products you can access, including the replay of the Blueprint 2021 that will be uploaded there today. So just visit our seller.co marketplace to be a part of what we have in store for you there. So right now we're going to go straight to the topic of the day. What I studied in school is totally different from what I want to do with my life. How do I go about it? You know, I'm just going to ask a few questions, you know, and I expect you to first of all answer these questions to yourself because it's going to guide you. Because one of the things I realized about us Nigerians in particular and humanity is the fact that sometimes we do things without thinking of the future implication of what we're doing. most times we do things as it relates to how pleasurable it is at the moment. Our peer groups, what our peer group has to say about it. But the truth is, as you go ahead in your future, you're going to face it yourself. So my first question is, how did you make the choice for the course to study? How did you make the choice for the course you studied? You know, if you make this choice, if you make this choice following the right process with a with the guide of a counselor, or you took your time to decide the parts of your life before you decided the course of study, of course, that decision would have been better off. First, how did you make the choice for the course you studied? That's important. How did you come up with a decision of what you have chosen to do with your life? That's also very important. That's very important because it's not just saying this is what I want to do with my life. What is influencing this decision? Is it because this is what is paying now, or is it that this is what you have a passion for, or is it that this is what you have a gifting for? Because truth is, the pointer to your Eden is actually the gift within you. God placed your gift within you to point you to that place where you do less and earn more. There's always a place like that for every one of us where you do less and earn more. When I say do less now, it doesn't mean you're necessarily doing less, but the truth is, when you are functioning in this place, it doesn't look as if you're working. It doesn't look as if you're working. You cannot tell me when JJ Okocha is playing football, is working. He's just having fun. When you listen to somebody like Two-Face playing music, you can actually see that he's having fun. My conclusion is that is how God created every one of us. There's a place in our life where we can have fun, make the best of impact, make the best of revenue for ourselves, and yet be internally fulfilled. That's a place we all need to be. But if the decision for the course you want to study in your life was not well taken with the necessary guardian, you may have taken it wrongly, and now you have to make a choice either to follow through with your certificate or to follow through with your passion and your dream. Because truth is, career choice is very, very important. You know. So the question is, how then do you go about facing your life passion, irrespective of educational background? Because if you are not careful, your certificate is going to become a stumbling block. And that's something you want to avoid. I used to tell people that the number one distraction to the Nigerian youth today is their certificates. Is their certificates. There's a massive complaint everywhere that there are no jobs. Yes, of course, I agree that there is always work. Just that the kind of job that you are looking for is not necessarily available, but there is always work to be done. There is always work to be done, and you can get the necessary work if you put in some of the things we have shared in the past and some of the things we're going to be sharing today. There is always work. Let me share with you my own story. I studied mass communication. I graduated. I knew this is what I was going to do all my life. But of course, I began to ask myself, how do I get a background? How do I get the necessary qualification to be able to say, this is what I'm doing, I'm teaching you? What qualifies me to teach you? So in preparing myself for the future ahead of me, I decided, let me get a job in the bank to at least be able to understand the corporate environment because it's going to influence a lot about what I'm going to be teaching in the future. In 2005, I decided to get a job in the bank. You know, Immediately I got a job in the bank, I discovered that this I won't go far in the bank because I was coming in with a mass communication certificate. So instantly, I signed up for a banking and finance program. But fortunately and unfortunately, The program was a 5-year program. And I told myself I was going to do 5 years in the bank. The choice of that certificate was influenced by the need for me to climb the corporate ladder in the bank, forgetting that I gave myself a 5-year agenda. You know, before I could graduate from the certificate, from the BSc program in banking and finance, I got fed up because that's the power of your words. I spoke ahead that I was going to do 5 years. After 5 years, I got frustrated. I began to feel frustrated. But the fear of the unknown, the fear of how do I take care of my family, because in this process, I already got married and I had a daughter. The fear of how do I take care of my family kept me there for another 1 year, 6 months, and 25 days. So I ended up spending 6 years, 6 months, and 25 days in the bank, you know, before I eventually faced it. And I stepped out because I had to face my passion. Because through this, your passion and your gifts are pointers to your Eden. We all have our garden of Eden. So the way you're going to go about this is that first, you must understand that you have to re-educate yourself. You're taking time, you're giving 4 years to a course that has nothing to connect with the passion and the future you're going to have. You must have to re-educate yourself. And when I talk about re-educating yourself now, certification should be the last thing in your mind. You're going to self-train yourself. If I share my profile with you, which can be accessed on trescaro.com/profile, if you watch, if you listen, or if you read my profile today, you will only hear that I have a background in banking and finance, because that is not what I want to project. On my profile today, everything I project are things I taught myself and new knowledge I had to go acquire that is in consonant with what I'm doing now. So you have to get ready to re-educate yourself. Then secondly, don't wait to perfect it. Put yourself out there talking about your chosen field. Put yourself out there talking about your chosen field. Don't wait to get all the education right. Don't wait to get everything perfected before you launch. You may not launch big, but let everybody know that this man is out for this. It's Miles Moreau that said the reason people are broke is because people don't know what to pay them for. Let the world know that if you need to talk to somebody as it relates to this topic, I am the person to talk to. And that becomes a resolution with the people when they consistently hear you talk about this. Because what is your passion must fill your mouth. A dream that fills your heart that cannot fill your mouth, you can never experience. You know, Joseph had a dream. He said it to the extent he ended up saying it to people who felt they were going to punish him out of the dream, but they ended up pushing him to the realization of the dream. So put yourself out there talking about your chosen field and passion. Then thirdly, understand that it will take a process. Yesterday we dealt with a question from somebody who said, what I love to do is not paying the bills. And we dealt very well with that. And one of the things we also shared is that you must be ready to go through the process. So if your chosen field in life is different from the certificate you have, then you have to start by re-educating yourself, then put yourself out there talking about your chosen field. Then third, mentally prepare to go through the process. Understand that you're going to go through the process. Then tell yourself, I will pay the price. You must pay the price in order to attract the prize. The price for the prize. Every guy you watch out for today, everybody doing great stuff today paid the price at some point in time. These are not necessarily new things, but this is the reality. You have to pay the price. If you go back, I recommend that go back and watch what we talked about yesterday. When we talked about how the fact that what you love doing is unable to pay your bills. You're going to see the steps here you need to go through for your love and your passion, your gift to become that money spinner for you. It is awesomely possible. And that's the last point here. You must know that what you love to do will eventually pay over time. Over time, it will. Even a painter, even a painter will eventually make the best of his life just painting. I call it just not because it looks like just to me, because it's not part of my passion, but to the painter, that's his life. Just know that it will eventually pay over time. Then finally, I would recommend go and watch our session where we talked about what I love is not paying my bills. What can I do about it? We had that yesterday. That session will help you with a step-by-step process you must take your gift through before you expect your gift to be able to pay massively as you anticipated. Because one thing about the world as a marketplace is the fact that the marketplace can give 80% of the revenue to the biggest player, while every other person scrambles for the remaining 20%. So you want to grow your gifts through the process until you become an authority. Until you become an authority. All of that we dealt with yesterday. We talked about how the fact that what you love is unable to pay your bill. That was a question that was asked yesterday, and we dealt about it today. We've just done justice to the fact that what you studied in school is totally different from what you want to do with your life. And I'm sure that listening to this, you gleaned some values from this. So my recommendation to you now, if you watch this on Facebook, please share with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share the link with your friends. Get them to watch it, get them to get value. If you are within a student environment, yes, get them to watch this. Get them to watch this. You would have succeeded in helping somebody. So let's do this again tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Tomorrow we'll be answering another question. A lot of questions have come in. In fact, we have questions that we'll take for the next 1 week. But feel free to add yours. Just follow the process as it is scrolling down the bar like that. Send your question to any of our DMs. Go to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Just check for Trescaro, Treskaro. Leave your message, your question there for us, or go to Trescaro Systems. Leave your question there for us. We will schedule it and come back like this to answer it. Beyond just answering it for you, know that whatever question you have today is also in the mind of so many other persons. So when you leave your questions, we answer them and it helps us to answer the same so many other persons. So thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm so elated that you chose to make this happen. Have a lovely night rest and let's do this again tomorrow. Bye bye.